There's recently been a huge trend with content creators making educational courses, and that obviously means that their fans are interested in platforms that offer such collaborations. But at the end of the day, you'd only want to use the very best option available, and that goes for creators and audiences alike. Today, I'm going to tell you about my experience with Skool and Circle, and compare them so you can make an informed decision. Also, if you haven't signed up for Skool yet, you can use my link down below to get your first 14 days for free. Let's start by taking a look at their pricing. I get that these platforms need to make money, but honestly, some of them take it way too far. The good thing about Skool is that they only charge $99 a month, and if you pay for a whole year up front, the price comes down to just $55 a month. That's about as reasonable as it can get without becoming completely unsustainable. So I really appreciate that Skool is trying so hard to make its services accessible. As for Circle, I was initially surprised when I found out that they just charged $89 per month. $10 isn't a ton of money, but it's important to save wherever you can. So a lot of people would immediately get swayed by this aspect. But here's the thing, if you pay for the whole year, you get 0% off. Like, Skool provides that option too, and they give you nearly half off for it. Circle really dropped the ball with this one, and I wasn't too happy about it. And by the way, the $89 a month package isn't the only option you can go for. There are cheaper and more expensive packages too, but I tend to dislike it when platforms make pricing so complicated, so I'm going to stick with the comparable pricing points to keep things fair. I'm giving Skool a 5 out of 5 here. They're upfront about the costs, and they're clearly not just trying to line their pockets. Circle gets a 4 out of 5 from me. The annual payment aspect is a real sore spot, but I do think that their pricing is pretty reasonable, all things considered. Now, let's shift our focus to the user experience. One thing I should probably mention here is that Skool doesn't have a dedicated website. It's available purely through their app, which can be a tad inconvenient for some. I mean, it's nowhere close to being a deal breaker, but hey, some folks might prefer a browser-based experience. In my view, the app provides an intuitive enough interface that my experience was as good as I could have hoped. Everything is smooth and loads at lightning speeds, and the interface is specifically designed to cater to the less tech-savvy crowd out there. That's a solid plus point, because a lot of users might not have that much experience with using apps, and they definitely won't have a hard time figuring out how things work on Skool. The gamified learning experience is another big advantage, allowing users to compete on leaderboards, which can seriously boost engagement for course creators. It makes for a very interactive experience for learners as well, so everyone gets something out of their experience with Skool. On top of everything else, Skool provides an all-in-one platform. You can launch and manage all of your courses through the app, which means no interacting with third parties. This makes it way easier to get students to sign up for your courses. They won't have to deal with a dozen sites just to get their account set up, which increases the chances that they'd give your course a try. With that said, I do have one gripe about Skool, namely that they don't offer video hosting. It costs extra to get it done through Vimeo, and considering how essential video can be to the learning experience, the absence of native hosting might become an issue. However, getting your videos hosted through Vimeo is easy and affordable. So I don't see this being a major problem for anyone, because it certainly wasn't for me. Moving on, let's talk about Circle's user experience. Right off the bat, I could tell that I was dealing with a super professionally designed app, and the possibility to use the platform in a web browser was great too. There are also plenty of customization options, plus the ability to send direct messages. That second bit might actually be a double-edged sword though. It might be useful to allow folk to message each other, but it could also lead to people focusing more on socializing rather than taking your content in. However, there's a massive issue with Circle. You can't make fully customized courses on it. Instead, you just have to make do with whatever templates they offer. That's a far cry from Skool, which allows you to pick and choose each and every element of your course, allowing you to give your learners exactly the type of experience you like. Given all of this, Skool gets 4.5 out of 5 from me, with a half point deducted for the lack of video hosting, which brings its total to 9.5 out of 10. Circle gets a 3.5 out of 5, mostly because of that lackluster course builder, for a total of 7.5. Next up, how do their features compare? Starting with Skool, the ability to post content to your followers is a nice touch. It looks like a social media feed, but the attention is entirely on you. You can make posts that keep your audience engaged and take polls that allow users to send you their thoughts about your courses. There's also a student tracking feature, which is great because you don't want anyone getting left behind. Some people need a bit of extra support, and there's nothing wrong with that. Accessibility seems to be incorporated into every single aspect of the design process, and as a result, differently abled people can access your courses too. Circling back to that gamification element, you might be wondering what sorts of features it includes. Well, users get points based on how much they engage with content. That makes things a whole lot easier for creators because the engagement just comes pouring in when users find out that they can score internet points. The presence of a leaderboard allows for some healthy competition, and the best part is that there are weekly, monthly, and all-time leaderboards. This means that people have a chance to take the #1 spot by performing especially well in a given week, but the ones that show consistently high performance still get their time to shine in the all-time leaderboards. There's also a Skool community section where people can interact with each other all out in the open. That's better than allowing direct messages, in my opinion, because the focus tends to be on the courses for the most part. You can use this section to your advantage by engaging with other creators. Everyone can improve together, which is exactly what platforms like this should be encouraging. The Slack-style messaging system creates a communal atmosphere as well. People can send messages, and they can do it in a more convenient and education-friendly way than on Circle. As for Circle, the first thing I liked about their features was that you have full control over who can see your courses. If you want to make them publicly available, go for it. But you also have the option to make secret courses that are only available to a select group of people. I've already mentioned private messaging, and why I don't like it all that much, but the ability to customize profiles based on your preference kind of goes hand in hand with that, and that's a feature that I actually like. The live streaming feature is yet another example of Circle's innovative approach, and it's something that Skool lacks. What's more, you can make landing pages that can attract more users, and you have the ability to make your community look just like what you envision. That's ideal for people who have a very specific brand and want their courses to match their branding as closely as possible. There are moderation features too, but they cost extra, so no extra points there. Overall, Skool gets another 5 out of 5. They deserve it after making such a feature-packed experience, and their total now sits at 14.5 out of 15. Circle gets another 4 out of 5 for a total of 11.5 out of 15. That means that Skool is the winner, and boy did they earn it. The extremely addictive gamification feature should be a case study for people who want to learn how to make an engaging app. The pricing is simple and reasonable, and the student tracking features ensure that you can give everyone value for money while boosting your own profile. Circle, on the other hand, is a prime example of missed potential. As much as I love the customization options, the confusing pricing tiers, coupled with the really underwhelming course creation tool, left a really bad taste in my mouth. 11.5 out of 15 isn't a failing grade, but I was this close to just deleting the app out of frustration. Also, if you haven't signed up for Skool yet, you can use my link down below to get your first 14 days for free. But what do you think? Will you be trying either of these platforms anytime soon? Let me know what you think if you do. That's all for now. I'll see you in the next one.